Okay, so we were talking about this on Tuesday. I took yesterday, Wednesday off to record the Edge of Eternity's YouTube video that's up. You can watch it after the stream. On, I think it was Tuesday night or Monday night, I had the I've been working on Rottenmouth Viper a lot. We played an Affinity build on Tuesday that went really well. The Raucous Affinity build was super solid, very aggressive. Cost this on turn 1 at least one time. I think Rottenmouth is very good. I think it ends games, and I've been really wanting to play. We played a Monument build. We played the Affinity build, and I've been working on like more of a more traditional fair strategy that tries to incorporate Arena of Glory and Fear of Missing Out, although Fear of Missing Out didn't make it in there. Getting an extra attack on the Viper is really, really crazy if you ever get to do it, but it's kind of like, it's a bit too, I don't know, it's a bit much to set up, I think. But there are a lot of good cards in the Jund colors that like set up for a good Viper. Springheart Nantuko, Orcish Bowmaster, and Seasoned Pyromancer all allow you to put you make a lot of tokens on board to play a Rottenmouth Viper for very cheap. And Nissa Resurgent Animist allows you to not only make some mana to cast Viper, but it also puts a Viper into your hand, or sometimes the second Nissa, which allows you to play less than 4 copies if you want. You could maybe do like 3-1. You could maybe do 1-2, depending on where you want this to be on your curve. I'm starting with 3-2, and this is what I had yesterday on my testing, but Rottenmouth Viper is an elemental, and so it is just nice when the very top end of your curve isn't a 4 of, so you don't, you're going to run into the problem of having 2 in your opening hand much less often. You're much more happy to have 1 Nissa, 1 Rottenmouth in your opening hand, if that makes sense. In addition to that, there's a lot to like about like black-based mid-range decks in Modern right now. I know this is like a little weird, but like we've had a lot of success with these like Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, Graveyard Trespasser, Bowmaster, Wrenn and Six. Like all of these cards are very good at disrupting both Boros and then the discard spells, and like Abrupt Decay, Kolaghan's Command can help you against a lot of the combo decks too. So I think there's a lot to like here. It's kind of a weird format too, where you have like the Ketchamos decks, which are picking up in popularity. You have the Domain Zoo decks, which are picking up in popularity, and it's just like going bigger than you're used to in your Jund deck is kind of like the way to handle those. Going over the top with a big Viper. Putting a Springheart Nantuko on a Seasoned Pyromancer with a Nissa in play to make a bunch of mana. Springheart Nantuko on Orcish Bowmaster. It's like, all of these things are really like, are really super nice. I decided we did have room for 1 Kroxa in a deck that isn't very reliant on the graveyard, wants to play a bunch of Arena of Glories to haste Rottenmouth Viper and Graveyard Trespasser, and has Spyro to discard for value. So I think that dynamic's kind of nice, although we do have a couple of lands that don't cast it. I did put an Nantuko on a Charmaw yesterday. That was pretty fun. 1 Kolaghan's Command made it in there. Let's get in there. Decay has been really good. I had 3 Decay in my first draft, and I ended up cutting the 3rd copy, I think, for the... Oh, sorry. Backup deck. Kroxa seems sketchy with only Seasoned Pyromancer to discard it. Well, you can cast it, and it's not that bad when you cast it. And we're playing 1 copy. All right. All right, let's keep this one on the draw. A little slow. Have you considered Splash Portal on your Lutri deck? Isn't it the Flicker card? It's pretty bad without Lutri, but it goes infinite with it. I don't think it goes infinite with it. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. Okay, we have drawn 2 Vipers. Lutri only copies a card if you cast the card. So Wooded Foothills, and not Boros. Probably Domain Zoo. Alright. 2 drop. Alright. Been loving Abrupt Decay. Cast Splash Portal targeting another creature. Cast Lutri. Copies Splash Portal targeting Lutri. Yeah, Lutri, again, only copies the spell if you cast the Lutri itself. So, from my understanding, this does not combo. Maybe I'm missing something. Alright, I think we have to hope this Nissa lives on the draw with a kind of mana-flooded hand here. They discard a Flage. Do they have a fetch land to haste the Flage? They do have a fetch land, yeah. Let's go to game 2. Oh, I just noticed we're up against Mistaken. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Pick Your Poisons. I want at least the 3rd Graveyard Trespasser, probably the 4th. Kolaghan's Command is good against Scion of Draco. You can also kill a Ragavan, although that's pretty slow, but we are on the play. I think Bowmasters are pretty bad, and I think I'm kind of interested in cutting a Viper and a Nissa here. Maybe could go 2-2. Could play 1 Bowmaster, just kill Ragavan. Don't think there's really anything else that's super relevant. Let's try this, just a little bit lower. Well, maybe not that much lower with these. All right, let's hope they have turn 1 Wrenn and Six. I'm gonna click the keep button here. They do have a Leyline of the Guild Pact. We have a Boseiju. Okay, they have 2 Leyline of the Guild Pacts. So we might need to find Pick Your Poison if they have a Scion. Good for us. They do have the turn 1 Ragavan. Let me go Commercial District here, I think. I want a mountain for this to enter untapped. I'm going to Graveyard that. If the Wrenn and Six dies, we might not have black mana for a little bit, although we have the Spyro to dig us for 1. Could have maybe been just better to get red-black surveilled. So there's an Arena of Glory. I feel like whenever I play against Domain Zoo, they just always have like Leyline Scion, but not this time. Not this time. So I do want to keep 1 Dreams of Steel and Oil to be able to deal with a Flage, potentially. Let's discard that and a Stomping Ground. Okay, now we have answer to a Scion if they... or when they draw 1. They're going to combat. Going to chump block with a Elemental token. They exile my Verdant Catacombs. That's interesting. And they play a Flage. Are they going to kill Wrenn and Six or are they going to kill the Seasoned Pyromancer? They kill the Wrenn and Six. So hopefully I can take something from their hand with the Dreams and exile a card. Okay, so at the very least I can take I can exile the Flage. It's also bad news, I'm not able to Thoughtseize this Fable. Maybe I should have led on the Thoughtseize. I think what we'll do this turn is we'll cast Seasoned Pyromancer and discard both of these, since making them sack an enchantment seems less than good on this board, to say the least. And then I think drawing the Fatal Push for the Kavu, I'm going to intend to start chipping in for some damage. So it has Fable, Leyline Binding, Mystery card. They exile my Stomping Ground again. I'm assuming they drew a good spell. I think against the Tribal Flames deck, I'm okay. Just basically counter a Tribal Flames with this block. Is that card advantage? Let me know. Here comes the Fable. Another copy of Arena of Glory. Gonna graveyard this. Yeah, you could maybe play Rottenmouth and Mardu Energy, but I definitely don't love to spend a lot of time working on energy builds, to be honest. If we draw, we could just full 6 mana Rottenmouth here. They put a Leyline of the Guild Pact in their discard on their draw step. Their hand right now is Leyline Binding and a Mystery card. They discard Flooded Strand and they discard the Binding, so they have 2 fresh cards now. Interesting that they would discard the Binding. I feel like it's a little nuts. Now they're doing some thinking. I think thinking usually involves a removal spell. Maybe it involves this Arena of Glory. Another copy of Flage, so unfortunate. We do have a window to draw some graveyard hate, but we may lose to the Flage. We do have answers to it too if they if we don't find anything. Okay, so Flage and a Cuddle, so 2 spells. We draw a copy of Fatal Push. So one thing that's interesting about Fatal Push is that obviously I need to push the Flage, but I also want to Surveil, and I want to get back Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. Doesn't look like I can do all of those things. So let me just plus and then pass. So they flip the Fable, they draw a new card. Are they going to kill the Wrenn and Six with the first Flays trigger? I feel like they would want to go after the creatures, probably. Yeah, so they go after the Seasoned Pyromancer. Then I get to Fatal Push Flays. They attack with just Wild Nacatl at the Wrenn and Six. Well, let's go ahead and trade for it. It does put another card in their graveyard, which is maybe a little less than ideal, but we do have like a lot of graveyard Trespassers to draw into. And of course, we want to have fetch land available if we draw our Nissa, if we draw a Springheart Nantuko. The flipped Fable is kind of a scary thing. Okay, last card's a Bolt. I think I'm happy enough with them using the Bolt there. Maybe they'll draw not a spell at some point in this game. We do draw Springheart Nantuko for this turn. And then I need to decide if I want to shock and escape the Seasoned Pyromancer tokens, or if I want to surveil. Surveilling seems really nice to try to dig for an answer to the Flays. Having that extra 2 tokens, though, does stabilize this turn really hard, and yeah, stabilizing is really important. Let me wait. Waiting is kind of bad if they have top ticket instant speed removal spell. I do think trying to protect the Wrenn and Six loyalty is something I want to do. They said 1 at me, 1 at Wrenn and Six. So let's take 3 and then chump block the one that's going at the Wrenn and Six, and then get our surveil. Last surveil land, playing 3. Looking for Graveyard Trespasser, Rottenmouth Viper, Nissa. Nantuko on Nantuko is pretty good, so I gotta keep that, I think. Don't know if I'm gonna run out of fetchables, though. I'm playing a good amount. Yeah, so I only have 1 more fetchable that the Mire can get. I do have also the Forest still in the deck, so if I draw green fetch, that's an extra 1. Working on Cube yesterday, and we thought about Heliod Ballista combos. So it's easy and simple. Why do we hardly ever see it played? I mean, Aerith is mostly better. We played 1 Heliod and Aerith. I recommend that deck if you're looking for that strategy, but there's better stuff to do is the short answer. Do they have another Surveil land? Right now they need 2 more cards in their graveyard, so this is 1 more card. They graveyard and Doth the Triumph, so they need 1 more card and they can haste Flage again, so that, a fetch land will let them do that. Waffle with the tier 1, thank you, welcome back, hope you're doing well. I didn't see any of the Spider-Man cards. Are they officially spoiled? I didn't know that there were Spider-Man cards out. All right, so let's not put the Wild Nacatl in the graveyard because of this whole Flage situation. And then they concede. Feels like a early concession. I mean, I am going to get 2 more Nantukos. I'm going to get a ton of tokens, but I mean, they have. Okay, I mean, I was drawing a couple good cards. Okay, so we're on the draw for game 3. Maybe I do want. I kind of feel like we flooded out a little bit. Maybe I boarded too low. Maybe we cut the Kroxa on the draw. I could see that being good. Don't hate the card overall, though. There's quite a few on Scryfall. I mean, it's crazy. I just spent yesterday, like, 7 hours making this recording for this PowerPoint, and then like more time putting it together and everything, and we already have a new. There's already a new set apparently. So this hand can go turn 2 Nantuko into Graveyard Trespasser. Definitely bad against Leyline Scion and bad against Ragavan. So I think I'm going to mulligan. Again, this hand does look better. I don't know if we're going to live to be happy about this mulligan or to regret it, but I'm going to go ahead and I think put back the basic forest over the Underground Mortuary. That could be kind of a tough decision too. Spider bot. Okay, so these are the... Wait, no. I thought that for some reason this was not... This was the... It's so annoying that we're not getting the these cards on Magic Online. Okay, I'm going to kill this main phase because of Stubborn Denial. Yeah, I think I will let a tiny amount of time pass before I'm ready to start digging back into spoilers. I figured a Wrenn and Six deck would want lightning bolts. Is that not important as a backup plan in case you ult? No, in games of Modern where you ultimate Wrenn and Six, you should probably be winning those anyways. I've played a lot of Wrenn and Six over the course of the last many years that Wrenn and Six has been legal, and you don't ultimate that card very often. And when you do, winning it's not often that you just need a lightning bolt in your deck to to win with, and I guess kind of simply Fatal Push is more or less better than Lightning Bolt, I think, in the metagame. Alright, getting a little flooded again. Do you have some more Surveil lands? Have the Cling to Dust, maybe? I'm playing 3 Arena. Okay, they flames me down to 13, so can't be too upset about that. Especially with the Cling to Dust to maybe gain some extra life. Come on! Something. That's not something. We have one more Surveil land and the Cling to Dust. Alright. Well, let's plan to probably escape Cling, but if we use the Fatal Push, we'll want to Surveil on our 3rd Surveil land. 23 lands in the deck. Looks like they're hasting something. Maybe they're casting a Leyline. They are casting a Leyline. So let's go get our basic forest and draw a card here. Hopefully they don't have a Scion. Okay, so that's not too bad. Wait, did I surveil my other Surveil land away? Oh, I guess I did. I forgot that. Alright, so we see if we get our other Nissa or if we get a Viper. We do get a Viper, and we can haste that next turn. I'm going to go ahead and pick your poison. Well, no, I guess, sorry, I don't want to do this, right? Yeah, I just need to save the pick your poison for, I need to save the pick your poison for the Scion itself. Vesperlark can cheat Famous Worldsire to play for 2 mana. That could be interesting. So they graveyard a Ragavan. Looks like they were looking for a Flage, of course. They might have another Flames in their hand too. The Bolt my Nissa? Yeah, Bolt's my Nissa. So we're just gonna full retail haste the Viper here. There is a pretty solid chance they have a Binding. But then they'll have 1 card in their hand after that, and they have to deal with this trigger. So opponent says GG. I will accept the GG. I'll accept the GG. That was an interesting first match. I feel like 2 early-ish concessions, maybe. Probably keeping this on the draw, though. Might be wrong with no 1-mana interaction cards. I think against a mulligan to 6, I'm happy to... Maybe you would keep this against a 7, and then against a 6, you're just kind of happy to keep a 7. Welcome, Dark Scythe. Welcome to the channel. Surprised you didn't mention Hymn of the Fallen when you're talking about Bauble cards. Okay, hold on. We're up against Titan. My first match of this deck yesterday was like a 50-minute, or maybe not that long, but one player in the Titan match used more clock than the other player. I think I'm graveyarding that. All right, so Hymn of the Fallen. Oh, I did totally forget this card. No, I do think this card's good. Sorry, did totally forget to add this one. Surveil 1, draw a card, lose 1 life, void, draw an extra card. Dang, I forgot about that one. The set, I've been saying this though, but the set is just, it's unbelievably full of good modern cards. It is an incredible set, and it's hard not to miss something. Okay, they're Brood Scale, not Titan, so that's in something. Good catch, good catch. So this matchup should be good, even if my opponent just goes for it in the face of this mana here. Let me see if we draw a removal spell. By the way, so you've the white one for 1 life. The white warp for 1 mana wins life for itself. If you play Guide turn 1, turn 2 you warp the Ocelot, you would win 6 life, I think, if you count the Ocelot token. Yeah, I did see a lot of comments that you can go Guide Pride this card by turn 3, and then you get to draw the card. I miscounted, so I was just kind of counting out loud mid-video, I guess. But yeah, good feedback, and definitely something that's interesting. All right, so down a game against Broodscale, but I think the Broodscale matchup should be fine. Maybe if we had one more K command, would feel really good. I'm going to bring in the Charmaws and the Pick Your Poisons and the Break the Ice. I think the Charmaws are pretty good against a lot of the builds that are playing Town, at least. I want to cut the Bowmasters, I want to cut the Graveyard Trespassers, I want to cut the Kroxa, and then click Submit, I think. No Tarmogoyf, huh? Yeah, welcome! Welcome to 2025. Tarmogoyf is not playable, really. I can't remember the last time I played a Tarmogoyf. There's a lot of better creatures out there. It's important to make little mistakes like that to boost engagement. Yeah, I mean, this video was so long to make, and a lot of it was just kind of like talking out loud and like, you know, it seems like I also missed apparently the weird black 3-drop that when a creature is dealt damage. Wait, no, that card doesn't combo. Someone in the comments said it combos with Orcish Bowmaster, but you're always the one that draws cards. So I actually don't think that is how it works. All right, well, I would love to keep this hand against Broodscale, but I don't have any black mana, so let's click the mulligan button. Let's keep this one, put back the second Nantuko. I know, just kidding. Yeah, I know, it's just sad. I don't know. And sometimes people, you know, they do come out of retirement when they see Goyf out there. Monster of the 22 months, Tarmogoyf Sandalwood. Yeah, we now have Cosmogoyf, who like is actually pretty exciting, I think. I paid $100 per Goyf back then. Yeah, I remember back in the day, my play group through like we traded. I don't even know why we did this, but we traded 4 Snapcaster Mages for 1 Tarmogoyf. I don't know. We obviously did nothing with this 1 Tarmogoyf, but it was like. we just looked at it. We're so happy to see one. It combos with Bowmasters because their effect gives the creature text, you draw a card, and always references the owner's card. Okay, so the combo is you get to kill your opponent's creature at the cost of them drawing a card and losing a life for each 1 toughness that creature has. Because that doesn't seem that good. They have 2 K commands and no way to cast 1. My Break the Ice can probably keep them off of 1. I think I'm still taking 1. It's K command. Let's just... They play a 1/1 Ballista. It's a good line, I think. I'm going to be maybe happy enough to trade it for like Nantuko, and I still could maybe 2 tokens if I can find a fetch land here. Okay, can find a fetch land. I got a lot of fetch lands in the deck. Where did they play Devourer? I feel like It's not super standard. One of Fling and a Cosmic Death, 100% tier 1 strat, of course. What happens if you bestow on the Ballista? So the Ballista becomes a 2/2, and then we still get to landfall and make tokens. Is that better? Might be better. I'm kind of happy to get this Ballista off the table, though. Maybe we have made a misstep here. I think I'm gonna be okay if they just Ballista this Nantuko. Yeah, I didn't get to bestow Nantuko on Viper yesterday, unfortunately. Okay, I'm gonna graveyard that. Okay, so no, my opponent's hand is Devourer, K Command, 2 mystery cards. Seems incredibly unlikely I get comboed. I'm gonna cast the Nissa. If you give your creature indestructible, it kills them. I mean, it kills them if they don't have like Solitude in their deck, or a mana up at a removal spell. Okay, so they rumble over 4 Sclaring Fleshraker, then 2 more sorceries that they can't grab. At the very least, this like the Bowmaster, this card, that interaction doesn't seem that interesting, but it is something I missed. All right, so they do take Glaring Fleshraker. Can give them more colorless mana for the K command, I guess. Is there a reason to hold this land? I don't really think so. So it's weird that they're playing a Devourer build. We just didn't get a target for the Break the Ice yet. There's a target. So if I draw a fetch land, I can Rottenmouth Viper and Break the Ice. Don't think I can do that if I draw Wrenn and Six, but I could Rottenmouth Viper if I drew Wrenn and Six. Another sad draw, I guess. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could have held this, because if I drew a Viper, I guess I could still cast it. But is there a way to build blue-white red Lutri instead of Grixis? Sounds exciting. I've thought about it a little bit, but there are way more individually good black cards than white cards in these decks, and you know, you certainly could, but I don't know if you certainly should. All right, so we get pinged down to 14. Good chance they might attack with this. They might try to double block. Get a little flooded here. Yeah, Goyf is an elemental, can get picked up off Nissa. That might have been worth talking about. They can K command for 1. But I get the 45 months. They welcome back. I do feel pretty confident Grixis is the best Lutri show. So they Ballista for 0. I guess. Oh, I'm just dead to K command. Wow. All right. A little flooded again. Let's go to match 3. 1-1. Yeah, let's keep this. I just found out they're spoiling Spider-Man already. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I heard. I didn't really look at the cards. I don't have the bandwidth. I just spent like all week making this YouTube video. Thanks, Jarek. I heard a bunch of big YouTube channel been acquired by private equity firms. You tell us if you bought by private equity. I don't even know what that means. But it doesn't seem like I'm in big danger of that. Okay, Thoughtseize my dreams. It's kind of nice, actually, that I could just play this comfortably turn 1. Let's keep that. Is the Spider-Man bot unplayable? I'm gonna wait. I'm a bad content creator. I don't want pictures of Spider-Man this time. I'm okay. I just spent all week poring over the new spoilers for Edge of Eternity. I'm building current modern decks. Edge of Eternity is coming out in it's like 6 days. I'm okay. I'll get back to you. We'll work on it when it comes out. No, thank you. Just excited to make it. It's okay, Scythe. I'm just mostly teasing, but I'm good, you know. This is a kind of an interesting sequencing spot. I am pretty interested in bestowing Nantuko on Nantuko. And then with the Wrenn and Six, like, I think I'm pretty incentivized to play a fetch land this turn and get two triggers here. It's also, of course, better if I find a Viper. I missed this card you said? Caesarian Voidborn. When this creature or another control artifact enters, target opponent loses 1 life, gain 1. I don't... This card seems to be worse than Marionette Apprentice and Sephiroth by a pretty big margin, right? It's also not a vampire. So, like, that would maybe push the needle on it. Oh, sorry, it's not a zombie. It is a vampire. It's not a zombie. Okay, return a Psychic Frog. If they Solitude, I'm super happy. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say this card probably will not make the cut in Soul Trader, which is also just not a very good archetype. This card gains targets and costs 1, so can allow turn 3 instant speed combo with Soul Trader. Well, there's no such thing as instant speed combo with Soul Trader because the combo is all at sorcery speed. Yeah, I don't understand your comment on instant speed at all. But yeah, I don't think the fact that this costs 1 is very interesting. Like these effects are like way better when they like stay in play. If that makes sense. It's way nicer when these cards just they stay in play and they continue to do their thing over the course of. Okay, this is interesting. Over the course of a couple turns. So maybe I could like go Wrenn and Six Bowmaster this turn, pick up a land, discard 2 lands, and try to bestow onto a Spyro. Seems hard to say no to Spyro at the very least, so let's just not. Forsaken Miner allows instant speed combo. Okay, that's what you're saying. I see. I don't know. I don't really know how this card moves the needle on that, but yeah, maybe the instant speed on Forsaken Miner is just underrated. I could buy that. So, kind of trying to tempt them to Solitude here. Nice. Pitching a Flicker Wisp is pretty good. Yeah, I think the green planet with white could be good. I agree. I think I mentioned that. I get Forest because of the Nantuko ability. Kind of minor, shouldn't really matter. This is almost definitely. I guess they wouldn't. They could have had that in their hand. They might snap off the Seasoned Pyromancer, but that might not be. Oh, they had the Fatal Push. Okay, sorry. So I guess snapping off the Spyro is fine. So they're gonna fly the frog, and then they'll probably attack Wrenn and Six instead of me. They get to draw a new card. So Wrenn goes to 3. They have a new card. This will tick down to 3. They draw a land, so that's good news. And we top deck Orcish Bowmasters. So let's go pick up a fetch land. Main phase the Bowmaster. I am a mana short of killing the frog, but that's okay. Let's just go ahead and main phase. Well, no, I do really want to surveil, and then if they top deck a removal, I want to get. I guess I want to have non-summoning tokens in play, and then my Wrenn and Six should be alive for me to copy this twice next turn if I don't draw a spell. Yeah, Frog probably shouldn't draw a card off Planeswalker hits. Or I don't know. Just one of these MH3 cards, huh? I know you played No Nonsense Blink Flicker. How do you feel about Frog? I wouldn't qualify Frog as nonsense. I don't think that it's mandatory that you be Esper instead of Dimir, but I just think these Frog builds are pretty good. I think that you could play Frog and you could potentially still not play Ketramose. All right, so they did top deck Fatal Push, so our line certainly played the best around that. They're dead on board, so they have to come try and draw a card. That's awesome, Aquadog. My personal pet card is a 6-mana Millwrath. Yeah, that card is one I would have been really excited for my Lazov. Wait, is it? That one's Dimir, right? I used to play a Lazov commander deck back way long ago. Okay, so we're up a game against Esper Frog. I don't think we're going to end up sideboarding a lot. At least that's my current thought process. We might be a little short on answers to Ketramose. Outside of the discard spells, we can't answer Ketramose. Pick Your Poison kills Overlord, and it kills Flicker Wisp, which is kind of narrow. Could also kill Relic of Progenitus if they're playing that. Bowmaster can maybe help you with Ketramose. I think I am running it back. Could play. Let's actually play one Vexing Bauble over one Graveyard Trespasser. Could we have pinged with Wrenn to kill Frog? Oh, I guess we could have done that. Yeah, that probably was correct. It's a nice looking hand. Let's see if they have another Thoughtseize. A good Thoughtseize mirror on a Thursday morning. Think of dusting off my old Death Shadow deck. Yeah, Death Shadow, Young Dingo has been on a tear in challenges with that lately. You can win some matches with Death Shadow in Modern still. Alright, so we're going to Fatal Push this so that we can play Wrenn and Six this turn. It's interesting that they just jammed it when they knew I had the Fatal Push, and it's interesting they didn't take the Thought. They took the Thoughtseize instead of the push. They probably have another solid threat in their hand, and we are drawing more lands. You see the Bant Blink deck that took second in a 64 chance. I don't understand the Into the Flood Balls. Stock up. Not a big fan of Thundertrap Trainer, no flare. It's like, I get, did you have to flicker it? Oh, we drew another land. The theme of today, I guess. Only playing 23. Well, 23 plus the Wrenn and Sixes. I thought about playing 22, but then I wanted to play Triple Surveil and the 3 arenas. I feel like 23 was good. I think I still think that. Graveyard a land. Okay, they Fatal Push the Nantuko a little too late. They could have done this and denied me an insect token. It's always funny when like something like that happens. Like, oh my, okay, they don't have they don't have Fatal Push in their hand, and then they just wake up with Fatal Push. Nissa gets a Cecil. Oh, sorry, Nissa gets a Viper. Did you notice you can Scepter Consult? Yeah. I do think that they'll go in the Scepter Rec deck. Probably could have mentioned it, but you just gotta go fast in these videos. I like Flemo as a catch-all, as it often buys you a turn for the lock. Okay, I mean, I don't know. So like a catch-all is, I never like these kind of arguments. Like it gets everything, but it just puts it back in their hand. Like Into the Flood Ball is a card that is awful against Boros. Like all their cards are so cheap. There are so many ETB effects. It's a card that's really bad against them. And wait, they just discarded the rest of their hand. Did they think they could draw one more card? Oh, they just want to kill the Wrenn and Six. Well, this could be a tough game to win. Maybe if I draw a removal spell for the Frog. Let's go to game 3. Didn't you make a deck that was basically Shadow except with Cecil Necro? We played a Cecil Necro deck. We played Cecil Shadow. We played Rakdos Cecil and did really well with that. Did not have Death Shadow in that one. Alright, keep it this. Good hand. Spells of this one. Easy Witch Enchanter. So now they have one land. Maybe we could have taken the Prismatic Ending. I think I'm pretty... Oh my gosh, I think I clicked Nantuko instead of Wrenn and Six. Sorry, I meant to click the Wrenn and Six. Shouldn't end up being that big a deal, honestly, but... They do keep a card on top, so they're going to have a land. Maybe this just will work out better because they're just Prismatic Ending this. Isn't that funny? Alright, so they have Wisp, Wrath, Felia. They did hit 2 lands in a row. Don't think I'm going to haste the Graveyard Trespasser here. I want it to be able to just kind of comfortably block the Felia. Yeah, the Wrenn and Six is still a good card. I know it's a card that people can kind of talk some smack on, but it does still get the job done. So they do find some more creatures here. They're going to take a Solitude or they're going to take a Felia. They do take the Solitude. Thankfully, we have the Fatal Push for the Felia here. If they have Ephemerate, we also have the Abrupt Decay. Maybe we could have got Basic Swamp. I was thinking a little bit about Path to Exile. Maybe that's a silly thing to think about here. So they had a Solitude, Flicker Wisp, Wrath Disguise. I guess they're going to get to Flicker Wisp the Overlord next turn. We might be pretty cold to that. Okay, never mind. Not cold to that. How bad do I want to hold this Abrupt Decay in my hand? I think I don't care so much about that. Let's see if that changes after I Thoughtseize. Okay. I mean, if they want to use 3 cards to deal with my Graveyard Trespasser, that's okay. So they discard the other Wrath Disguise. So their hand is Flicker Wisp, Mystery card. Is it 2 Flicker Wisps? Okay. Flicker Wisp, Frog. So let's take the Wisp, save the Decay for the Frog, Surveil this turn. Then we can play the Spiral. We might ultimate the Wrenn and Six this game. Ever since we talked about having data with Red States, I've had 60% rate over 33 matches with 5-color creativity, 100% against 5 matches of Boris, giant samples. That's awesome, yeah, good job. Might be a sleeper. Quantum Brittler into Birthing Ritual and the Carnosaur. Yeah, I didn't mention a lot about the Birthing Ritual with the warp stuff. I do think there's something there. So the exile so that they catch your most all night if they draw one. I do think there's something to that. I think that I do think it's a lot more complicated than what you're making it out to be, rather, for whatever that's worth. It's like I think actually balancing like your hits and your payoffs is just kind of complicated, which is mostly why I didn't talk about it. But I do agree that there's something there, and I do agree it's worth working on. It's possible. It's like, and Birthing Ritual goes well in like ETB decks too, so playing it in an Ephemerate build is like totally fine too, but just don't have that built yet. Well, my opponents keep conceding to Rottenmouth Viper. Oh, the record tracker's here, but it's not quite caught up. All right, no black mana, classic, mulligan. They are also on a mulligan to 6. Now we've got a pretty solid hand. I'm probably putting back the Fatal Push. They were last seen 4 days ago on Amulet Titan, so I guess that's just definitely what we're putting back. GG's looking back, Wrath is not that great. Yeah, I agree. Maybe you could play 1 and not 2. I don't know how many you brought in, but the first one seems like okay. Okay, opponent's on a mold of 5. Last night I sat down to play test this deck, and I played against a Titan player, and I ended up being up 15 minutes, and I lost in game 3 after. just crazy. They might not be on it, although they were last seen playing it, so it is kind of likely. We do have Ashioks on the board. We've got Pick Your Poisons. Charmaw's okay against them. Could maybe Decay and Amulet this game. I'm going to lead on Thoughtseize instead of Dreams of Steel and Oil, so that if my opponent has Scapeshift or Spelunking as their only spell, they only have 4 cards. We can hit that. Okay. Yeah, we'll take the Spelunking, I think, over the Scapeshift. Scapeshift not very good without an Amulet effect in play, and with Decay in our hand, we should be pretty good at keeping them off of 1. They play a Shifting Woodland. Let's wait on the Dreams, I think. So they hand a Scapeshift Vestige Mystery card. I'm going to play the Nissa. I know we don't have a fetch land in our hand, but we're pretty close to casting this. If we just draw one, we could just cast it. No sack required. Seems like they might be thinking about just firing off a Scapeshift. No, they drew a Spelunking, which is pretty bad. Although maybe I can Decay the Spelunking in response to Scapeshift. Alright, seems like the play. Winning game 1 is tough against Amulet Titan, as your Jund deck, but very difficult for them to play around Abrupt Decay here. Not that the Scapeshift is going to be super bad or anything, but this should slow them down a lot. Hopefully I can draw a fetch land and get a Viper down and start really pressuring them. We might be in for a little bit of a tank. So they're going to bounce the lands. They're going to transmute this turn, so they have 4, 5, 6. Okay, they can cast a Titan next turn. They have a Summoner's Pact in their hand. Can't take that with Dreams of Steel and Oil. Graveyard that. I think I exile the Scapeshift to better keep them off Delirium. And I leave this back. I guess they're not very likely to haste the Titan, are they? What they returned so they returned to Larios with the Growth Chamber. So their hand is Summoner's Pact Mystery card. Okay. Mystery card's Lotus Field. Most lists are on 1 TOS now. Might have been a good reason to exile that. This keeps them off Delirium. There's that to be considered too. Don't like how they're thinking. They just drew a Titan. Got a Summoner's Pact first. They hand a Summoner's Pact, Lotus Field, a Mystery card. Alright, they decide to cast the Summoner's Pact for a Primeval Titan. They get 2 Urza Sagas. Fun. And they play a Hedge Maze, which they drew for turn. They keep a card on top. That's bad news. That's going to be a big payoff. They do have to Summoner's Pact. So I do have to sack 1 permanent to play this Viper. Keeping the Wrenn and Six so I can play another Viper next turn does seem kind of interesting. Keeping the Graveyard Trespasser for more board pressure seems interesting too. I think I want to sack the Trespasser so if I draw another spell I can cast that. Is a 6/6 who can block the Titan. See if they lose 4, discard a card, or sack their Primeval Titan. They decide to lose 4. That makes sense. I guess another option was to sack the Wrenn and Six so I could double block and keep the Viper in play. That might have been a better line too. I do think they drew a good spell. I can't pull down the record tracker because it's not accurate. I can do it after this league. So this is the card they kept on top. Kind of weird to keep that on top when they have double Saga in play, I guess. So they get Mirror Pool and Crumbling Vestige. I guess that's a good enough reason to keep it on top. I'm going to concede. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So I did sideboard in this matchup last night. I think this was it. One Vexing Bauble for the Summoner's Pack's not ideal, but Bowmaster bad, Trespasser bad, Push bad. And your Boros Hammer builds, what do you bring in Welding Jar for? Decks with targeted Artifact Hate. It's a nice one up to have access to. Is Cage better than Bauble? So Cage tops Green Sun Zenith, which isn't a card we saw. Not every build plays Green Sun Zenith, so if they are on Green Sun, I think you can bring it in over the Bauble, but I think there's just enough builds that just don't even register Green Sun that you don't want to bring it in until you see it. So how this matchup went last night is my opponent took like 15 minutes for game one. They won because I was holding up a Cling to Dust, seeing if I could disrupt their Analyst combo, which it didn't. And then I stomped them game two. I discarded into Ashiok, into Charmaw, copy Viper with Nantuko, and then I lost to a top deck in game three. So let's see if that's how this goes this time, or if we get a little bit luckier. Did you not have lethal if you drew Springleaf for Viper? I don't think that I did, because you're not going to copy the the counters. Maybe we did. They're going to have a lot of extra permanents in play though, because they have the Amulet, they have the extra copy of Titan, they might have at least a Saga token. Figure Poison's good against them. I think access to multiple Surveils and Cling to Dust to dig for other cards probably makes this a really borderline keep. I like to see colorless lands, of course. Okay, let's keep that. It's a little bit interesting. Do we want to save this for an Urza Saga, or do we want to just fire it off now? I think because we have the K command, we're really incentivized to just fire, or to hold it. But I think now that we've drawn Break the Ice, that dynamic does change. Because we want to probably fire off the Break the Ice next turn now. They also just couldn't have another Amulet, right? And if they do have Urza Saga, like it's not that likely because they didn't play Saga turn one, and we do have to Break the Ice for it. Okay, they do have second Amulet. They do have Green Sun. They Green Sun for a Grazer. They get Oda. They put Oda War into play. That's an interesting line. Might as well play around Veil of Summer. They discard Escape Shift. They've got Mirror Pool. 3 other cards in their hand. So they play Gruul Turf, pick up Otawara. Top deck and Ashiok. That's pretty good. Thumbs with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and, I think, eat them. You can get some really nice tutor targets from them. We got two Titans. It's kind of something. But they do have the Otawara in their hand for the Ashiok, though. The record tracker got fixed, but it got fixed mid-league, so we got to keep it up for the duration of this one. So we pick up a Charmaw, which is really good. Also, my stomach really hurts. I need to take a poop break. I hope I'm back in time. I haven't done this in a while, but I have to take a shit. Okay, good news. We drew a Charmaw. I'm going to try to make it through this league. I'm going to do my very best. How's the top? Not great. Not great. The key to play around Odawara on your Ashiok is to blow up all their blue sources. If we lose from here... So we could lose if they have Scape Shift, potentially. We did get rid of a Lotus Field and an Echoing Deeps and a Vesuva, so it's not that likely. Usually you need the 4th land also for Scape Shift to be really good, so it's not the easiest. But like literally like this, I just think about the Glass Cannon commenter and how, you know, I went kill your amulet, play an Ashiok, destroy 2 lands this game. And I might lose. And I just think about that commenter who called Amulet a Glass Cannon deck. And it's all about all I could think about. I don't know that we're going to lose. If they had one more land in play, it would be very likely. They didn't have one more land, so it's, you know, not that likely. So it's not that we have just lost this game, but we could lose this game. Yeah, I'm certainly not going to concede. Yeah, maybe if they have another Scape Shift. Yeah, I think us minusing the Ashiok aggressively is potentially a big part of us not me feeling okay here. If I was in charge of being how to nuke this deck, I just think the card Amulet of Vigor is I think it's the most powerful mana generating card in the history of Modern. It is the most efficient at generating mana, generates more mana, and faster than any other card in Modern's history. So I would just ban that one, and, you know, I've died on turn 3 enough times to a Spelunking. Also, Spelunking is, like, kind of hard to deal with because it comes with an Explorer, so, like, killing it's, like, a bit annoying. That I'm interested to see what the deck looks like with Spelunking as the enabler instead of Amulet. I'm interested in slowing it down so that 3-mana sideboard cards are better against it. That's a big problem, though. But I don't know. I think I still think that it's hard to argue that Amulet of Vigor is the most efficient and powerful mana generating card in the history of Modern, and it's also this gameplay sucks, and it has sucked for quite a long time. All right. Not contradicting Amulet is busted, but just curious if Amulet is the most powerful mana generator in Modern. Why is it the only shell it's played in? Why no Amulet Eldrazi? Well, you know, why was Nadu played in only one shell? Why was Cascade Valky only played in only one shell? Why was Hogak played on only one shell? That's just how some cards are. They're, you know, they require you to build your deck around them in a really severe way, you know. So that's not the case for every deck. But yes. It is true. It is good in only one deck. They could also ban Woodland. I mean, you could ban a lot of cards. I feel like, you know, we could ban the really powerful one, or you could ban the one that's not all that powerful, and those are kind of your options. So if they have a Cultivator Colossus here, we could be in some really bad shape. They do have a Green Sun. This was very similar to my experience in Game 3 of this matchup yesterday. Okay, the Amulet doesn't do anything. They Bajuka Bog me. It's an interesting choice. So we're taking 6 down to 7. I probably want to break the ice, the mirror pool, and then play my Ashiok, and then pump my brakes a little bit. Why did they get the Boseiju bug? Maybe they're afraid of Unholy Heat? So, you know, we could win this game. Maybe I mill myself. Could find Kroxa. Do you find Seasoned Pyromancer? I also find the Boseiju, so let's plan on that. Listen, Titan is a glass cannon deck. You just need to pick your poison there, Amulet. You just need to also Kolaghan's Command their Amulet. You also just need to double Charmaw, double Ashiok, Wrenn and Six Boseiju, and break the ice their mirror pool. And then you could win. You could win those games. No, then milling myself ended up working out way better here. I'd even say we're likely to win. Kill the blue source because of maybe second Odawara, you know. Thragtusk! Is Rottenmouth Viper the reason you reconsidered John as a deck? More so the ability for Nissa to grab Rottenmouth Viper. So I'm just going to sack this since we already have Summoner's Pact turned off. The next turn we'll just mill them for 8, and this will be our win con. Although I guess if I mill then play Ashiok, they do get to Urza's Cave, but then they're gonna have no cards in their deck, so that'll be good. Doesn't haste Titan win. Yeah, that's why I say maybe win. They definitely I don't think they could have made the red mana was the thing, or I think there was a window they could have top deck Titan to haste it to win. Titan does struggle and smell. This is a point. It does, yeah. It can lose, so nothing should ever happen to it. All right, so we milled them. So Ashiok only stops them searching with their own stuff. It doesn't stop us making them search. Did we XL 3 times? I thought we only XL 2. If we XL 3, then so I think I'm going to cut the Kroxa and bring in this extra cage because they have Green Sun. Yeah, look at that glass cannon. Shatter to pick your poison. K-Command, double Charmaw, double Ashiok, Wrenn and Six Boseiju, break the ice, discard spells. All right, let's keep this hand. Unclear if I want to put back the Nantuko or the Wrenn. I guess I could just put back the Raucous Theater. Yeah. Let's fucking go, dude. They can decide no attacks. Can graveyard that since we've got the Wrenn and Six. I guess if they Boseiju bog me, we could get really punished. Might Springheart Nantuko, Charmaw. I did that yesterday. The glass cannon crumbled. The glass cannon crumpled. Yeah, that was you yesterday, Vent. I guess we already have a Green Sun turned off, but I'll play the Cage. They play Odawara. They have one card in their hand. Oh, I don't have another untapped green. Oops. Could matter. I think we're probably going to be in okay shape. They kept the Thragtus good. This is live stream torture. More like live streamed therapy. All right, GG to our opponent. We advance to 3-1. I never am coming to the stream just with the intention of having fun. Sometimes fun is a happy side effect. But also, I wouldn't recommend just taking any brew here to the PT. So, like, what we do here is, like, I have ideas. I work on the ideas off stream. The ones that I think are interesting and competitive, I tune off stream and I bring to you on stream. This is one of those. It's performing well off stream, and I think there's some interesting, cool ideas that I wanted to show off here. Of course, most decks are not going to break Modern, but what we do here is less so try to just give you a new deck for an RC or a PT every single day. What I try to do here instead is give you ideas for us to flesh out. We look at ideas that are interesting, like Nissa, Rottenmouth Viper is this one, and with Nantuko. We look at this one, we look at a color combo that's underexplored, we maximize the idea, and we can build a deck with a winning win rate. And then we understand the shell, we have the shell as we go forward, and then because we have the shell as we go forward, we can build decks that not just have winning, we can upgrade these decks as new cards get printed, or as we have new ideas for them. That's kind of the mission statement of the stream, and like what my goal is here, even if I'm not very good at outlining that very often. Might have been better to decay the Sprawl, but I think I'm going to hope to do that next turn and get some pressure on them. Yeah, Decay is really good at the moment too. It's been this is also like Decay's been good in several other shells for us, so like we have it here, and it's like we wouldn't know that without other shells. Non-take a mono blue Urza Pro Tour. That is a deck that I would definitely test it if you're queued for the Modern PT. That one is one that has performed pretty well. Am I a Wemby fan? I'm more a Wemby. I'm a Wemby fan, I guess. He's my favorite NBA player. I live in Dallas, and the Mavs have been what they've been. So certainly feel like I'm more of a Wemby fan than anything else in the NBA. My goal next year for the NBA is to see Wemby play, to see Jalen Williams play, to see Jokic play. And if I could do all of those things, I'll be pretty happy. I'm not a fan of Maelstrom Pulse. Instant speed on your removal just matters so much. All right, they discard an Ugin's Lab. Then they take 4, so they're down to 10. They probably have a Kolaghan's Command. Kozilek's Command. Yeah, I'm sure I'll see Cooper play at some point. I don't really know a lot about the kid, but I'm sure he's... I hope he's good. So if they block 1, I kill 1. Then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I kill this. They have to have a land to have 7. Well, yeah, Jalen Williams is just... He's one of the players that was so fun to watch this last year. All right, so they block with a spawn. They make mana. You can decay Sprawl. Yeah, I think I maybe said Sprawl, but it sounded like Spawn. They need Soul Land to have 7. Wait, they have 3, 4, 5. Okay, great, good, miscounted. Good time to be not a college graduate. Go, Viper, go! So far, it's dealt them 8, killed a spawn, and made them discard a Labyrinth. They play a Sanctum of Ugin. Pass the turn. They did keep a card on top, so maybe they have another K command. So I target this. Thanks, Galmi. Okay, so they may not have the K command if they let the Bowmaster resolve. Maybe they messed up. Oh, no, maybe it is better to... No, you would want to respond. You'd want to respond. Okay, so they do scry draw, and then we get to kill one with the Bowmaster trigger, and then they get to sack the spawn. They're going to chump block 1. They keep 2 on top, and they put 2 on the bottom. So we get triple Viper trigger. They're going to chump 1 with the spawn. They may sack 1 spawn to the trigger. They may take 4. We'll see. We'll see. They discard a K return. And then they discard a Talisman, and they discard a Chrysalis. The K return doesn't do all that much here, because this has 6/6. Maybe they have a Devourer to deal with my Viper. Maybe they can Emrakul? I'm not sure. We'll just see what they cast. It is a Devourer of Destiny. They're probably not going to sack the Sanctum. They only have 5 mana right now. They might not get K. They do sack the Sanctum? Oh, and they get Sowing Microspawn. Right, they don't have to get a big thing. It's kind of a rare play. Good play. I like that. Alright, cast a Seasoned Pyromancer. And then, not a bad time to draw Dreams of Steel and Oil. They have a 3rd K command in their hand. That sucks. Save me, Viper. Do you think the new Is It Warp creature is interesting in a Rona combo deck? Maybe a tiny bit interesting. I think for the most part. Okay, am I gonna sacrifice a Seasoned Pyromancer for 3 damage this turn? I think I want to Thoughtseize first, because if they K command and they draw a card, then I get the Bowmaster trigger, which is nice. Did I text Grixis with the list? So my main idea here was like Nissa finds Viper, which means you don't have to play. You can still have access to a lot of Vipers without playing 4. And then Nantuko is a good way to sack it. So I did test also red black, but I don't know, like, what are you sacking to enable your Viper? Okay, so they put 2 on the bottom. They have Worldbreaker mystery card. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's maybe just try to keep them off the Worldbreaker, I guess. Although maybe I'm going to end up taking the Worldbreaker with the Thoughtseize. I guess so. Did you explore some of the Gem Bombardment decks? I get really discouraged when it comes to Goblin Bombardments. I think actually because of their K return, I'm going to send in here. I get pretty discouraged when it comes to Goblin Bombardment without a Johnny. It's kind of a tough sell. Okay, so their hand is Rumble mystery card. They play a Sprawl first. That was what their draw for the turn, of course. Let's get ready to rumble. They reveal Eldrazi Temple, Ancient Stirrings, Utopia Sprawl, and the 4th K command. So we only have to endure 3 K commands cast game 1 here. They choose Eldrazi Temple. They could get their Worldbreaker back from their graveyard. Maybe we could top deck a Graveyard Trespasser or a Cling to Dust. We draw Arena of Glory. So let's attack, since they're about to K return me. I think I hold the Arena because I would want them to target the Arena with the Worldbreaker instead of one of my green sources, maybe. Okay, they don't Worldbreaker. Worldbreaker is kind of easy to forget about, I guess. It's our second time getting tokens back. Okay. So let's not go too crazy with this right now, since they may have remembered their World Breaker and we would really want to respond to the activation. So we get them down to 3 life points. I'm going to play this. I don't think it's that likely I draw something that's relevant, but... Is it Chrysalis? It is a Chrysalis. Best draw is Kroxa, I guess. Let's target the K return here. I think they're F6'd. And they kept forgetting about the World Breaker, so let's just target this. Yeah. Nice. I wouldn't usually do that, but it was just kind of obvious they were asleep at the wheel there. Okay, so they have to sacrifice a permanent for each Viper trigger here. They do have a lot of permanents to sack. They're going to have to sacrifice 3 of them. Does grow the spawn. So they're going to end up sacking this block here. So if I send in with these other 2... So if I send in with everything, this block's here, this gets sacked, this block's here, this is dead, then they're at 1. Seems good to me. Cosmic Grand Zenith. Which one is that? I do like the based Boros deck. Alright, so they're at 1 life. We currently have lethal and board, so if they top deck nothing, we win. We also have this in the graveyard, Cling to Dust in the graveyard. They concede. Nice. Winning game 1 against Eldrazi is nice. We also have a good amount of sideboard cards. I do like the Pick Your Poisons against them. We want to cut the Fatal Pushes. We do like Dreams of Steel and Oil. We don't like Graveyard Trespasser against them, but we do like Graveyard Trespasser in general. With the K command and the Pick Your Poisons, I think we get down to 1 Decay and then click Submit. We could maybe play 2 Decay and play 3 Bowmaster, but I think Bowmaster to sack the Viper is good too. If only they had a 5/7 blocker. A game that could win like this against Eldrazi can find a place in the meta. I agree. This deck is good, I think. One thing that I've been saying lately is that a lot of the deck building norms that were the case during MH2 Modern have been sort of rewritten for MH3 Modern. Like, if you notice, the fair decks we've been doing well with have been like 4-color Karuga, Rakdos Cecil, the Delirium Boros deck. This one is really promising too. It's you have rethinking how you build these decks. It has been something that I've been finding a lot of success with recently, which is also part of the reason why we're here today. Is this kind of idea of rethinking building these strategies in ways that just like they go bigger or attack from different angles. It's just been a good formula for me, I guess. So they can't cast the Chrysalis yet. They can if they draw a green or red source, not that they have any like mountains. Draw Mycospawn? It's pretty good. Looking at Cosmogoi Phoenix, do you think it'll be more of an interactive Jund deck? It'll be an aggro list, more likely. Alright, so let's Thoughtseize the Chrysalis and then play the Theater tapped. Then we can go like Nantuko, 2 cards, then Nissa, 2 more tokens, and cast a Rottenmouth Viper, then hopefully cast 1 again next turn. Draw another Nantuko. I'm not sure how that changes anything. Hopefully they didn't draw exactly K return. I think I might as well play around like top deck Dismember with this main phase Surveil. Maybe like I guess we already have black red played. This isn't so bad if nothing bad happens. Nothing bad will happen. It also might let me bestow onto Rottenmouth Viper. That might actually be better too. So they top deck a Rumble. They rumble over K Command, a Temple, a Worldbreaker, and a Sprawl. They choose the Eldrazi Temple. That's not too surprising. They have 6 mana right now. They could Devour of Destiny next turn. Should I block here? Not going to 6 is kind of nice. If I block here, I'm going to have 3 spawns, Nissa, plus 3 mana, so that's just kind of an easy Rottenmouth cast, so I think I should block. Let's just pop off next turn with Nissa. I don't think the Nantuko does anything with Nissa next turn. Maybe I'm missing something on that, though. My Swamp is also already in the graveyard, so I'm going to Verdant Catacombs for basic forest, I guess. Yeah, I think we're more so trying to maybe bestow the Nantuko on the Viper next turn. So we do find second Nissa, but we'll find another Viper off the other Nissa trigger next turn. Guaranteed, if this lives, or if it dies, we just have another Nissa. Which is good because my opponent, there's a good chance they're going to devour my Viper this turn, which is kind of metal, you might say, kind of an intense. I don't know if it's a flavor win. Okay, they don't put the Devour into their hand, so maybe they have something big already. Is this an Emrakul? Can they cast Emrakul? I think they'd likely be a little short, but it's hard to count. Okay, they play Sire, which is tough. They grab Sowing Mycospawn off the Sanctum there. It's not that often that we're kind of required to really go over the top of Sire like this with like Nantuko on Rottenmouth Viper, but it's cool that we can. So let's go Bestow. We can make 2 copies also. So we go Bestow. Stack the triggers. We make the Nissa mana first. Make a green. And then, yes, we'll pay to make a copy of Rottenmouth Viper. And then we'll be in a position where we can multi-block the Sire. Yeah, Rottenmouth Viper being an elemental made me really excited when I realized it. Made me really excited to like work on this, and I'm glad it came together pretty well. So we're gonna get 2 more Nantuko tokens. So if I fetch an untapped land, I'll have a floating mana, and I'll have another Rottenmouth Viper in my hand. I'm just thinking, can I cast a Rottenmouth? So I could sacrifice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would have to break this up, which I don't think I'm that interested in. So let's not. All right, so we get a Rottenmouth Viper in our hand. You want to do this before you like lose the Surveil, because this is going to reveal until we put 1 into our hand. We have a Wrenn and Six, so I think I can graveyard this. Then let's pay. Get another trigger. Can't attack because of the first strike. They do go down to 13. Your turn. They do put the Devourer into their hands. So they do have enough mana. They also have their hand is Mycospawn, Devourer, and 2 mystery cards. Wait, Yigra's an elemental? No. Why would you tell me that? Let's forget that. Could do both. Could make this a Yigra deck. Thankfully, we don't really have brew days until the new set comes out. Because I'm taking Monday off to deck build for Edge, and then Tuesday we're gonna hit the ground running. And then tomorrow's challenge day. I don't know what I'm playing in the challenge. Their mystery card was Emrakul. That's bad. It would have been really, really nice to have not drawn that this turn and to have drawn it next turn, but here we are. Now, when they attack with the Vipers, they still have to... The triggers still happen. No. No. Oh, no, 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 no. They just sack everything to cast this Viper. I missed it. Is this a May ability? Not a May ability. So I guess this was a reason to cast this last turn, though. We could have cast this last turn. But we had to sacrifice a bunch of our stuff. Wrenn and Six Ping Sire is also death. Oh. Okay, well. You know what? They missed. They did find a good line. Okay, one problem is we're out of Rottenmouth Vipers. I'm gonna make you sack a creature with flying. It's crazy they didn't just like pick a different mode on pick your poison. I got to pick the poison. So we need to draw like exactly Springheart Nantuko. So I think that means this is Menace, so I do have to block it with the Bowmaster. So I need to hold this in my hand in case they do attack Wrenn and Six, I guess, and I draw the Nantuko. I do think we're not going to win this one. They top deck Devour. We knew their card before this was just Mycospawn. Okay. You know, I really thought we were going to win this one. Let's go to game. Let's go to game 3. On the play for game 3. Fun game. Fun game. All right, this is going to be a keep, I think. I think I'm going to lead on the Arena of Glory. You need to tell them about the Ping Sire line. I'm not usually a big fan of, like, hey, you mislead. You know what I mean? Not everybody plays the game for the same reasons. But if someone asks, then I'm happy to help. Was it the one they put in hand from Labyrinth? I don't think it was, but maybe I am misremembering. What if I Boseiju this turn? Yeah, it's kind of a big disaster if it's kind of a big disaster if I don't get my 2 tokens here, and then being able to like Boseiju an Eldrazi Temple or a Labyrinth this turn could be good. So I don't think I want to Boseiju. They choose Mycospawn. I don't really think I want to Boseiju any of those, right? The milling K return is certainly annoying. Me drawing Charmaw is also really interesting because now maybe what I want to do is I can't cast it this turn. But I could cast it next turn, and then I could plan to Nantuko the Charmaw. Right, that seems like my line. Weird to do nothing on turns 1 through 3, especially when we could have. They grab Ugin's Labyrinth. Okay, so I don't want to Boseiju because I want to be able to pick your poison and play Charmaw on this next turn. And I think I'm playing the Boseiju. So we don't want to haste so that we can bestow. I guess we could bestow and. Yeah, we can still bestow and copy next turns. We do want to haste. Pick your poison first so they can't activate Lab. Lab gets activated by the tap, so I'm not sure what you're thinking, but that's not how that works. Dude, why do they bring in Stonebrain against me? They do pick Stonebrain. Dude, if they like Lab, Stonebrain, Nantuko, good beats. They rumble again. They do mill another K return, but we can probably keep them off of enough mana. Hopefully we can. I guess if they have a double land next turn, they can they can get me. So it might just all come down to do they have double land plus 7? They have the 7 drops, so they have a double land. Not our first time Nantukoing a Charmaw this league. Might as well try to keep them off of Chrysalis, I guess. Your turn. They have the Uggin's Labyrinth. Do they have 2 imprintables? I think that they do, but oh, they don't imprint. They don't imprint. Let's go. I thought we knew that they had like 2 Devourers. No, they took Stonebrain, right? Right, they took the Stonebrain. Maybe they misclicked? They do Stonebrain. Are they gonna name Viper? I was really looking forward to hasting this Viper next turn, but I'll settle for winning the game. Yeah, 2 more Charmaws next turn. They do name Rottenmouth Viper. We draw Pick Your Poison. Oh, we could haste the Charmaw for lethal. Nice. What did we lose to? Did we lose to the Ketramos deck? Okay, 4-1. Did we do a prediction? I think we did a prediction. We did. Okay, pay out the Believers, and let's run it back. This deck is just a little too sweet not to do 2 leagues. Oh, it was a Brood Scale. Yeah, we beat the Ketramos deck. We lost to Brood Scale. I always forget about losing